Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be back. You all know how I do. I'm here for a minute to do a couple of videos and then on a sabbatical, gone somewhere, got something going on, ripping and running. But I am so glad to be back. Hopefully, I'll be back more this time. I always say I'm going to be back more when life is happening, even when life is happening. So I am back and I'm gonna do my best. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I just want to share this bit of information with you all. I am excited because I have a project that I will be working on with someone soon. And you may be seeing me more there than here on my own page, but that's okay. I'm gonna try to do both. We'll see what happens. But either way, you'll be getting more of me sooner than later. But I wanted to come and do this video because it's been a while and I want to try to be more disciplined because sometimes I feel like I'm stretched thin because I'm trying to look out for this one or help or be of encouragement to this one or that one. And it's hard sometimes because you can see things or you may feel like, oh, well, let me dedicate, let me give. And you just pull away from yourself. And my sister and I were talking earlier today about self-care. And I was telling her that self-care is being selfless. You know, some people say, oh, that's selfish of you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, if you don't take care of you, you cannot be of service to anyone else. But taking care of you is helping other people, is a selfless act when you are taking care of yourself. And so one of the things, well, that wasn't one of the things that I want to talk about, but that just kind of happened in there. But one of the things I want to talk about is the endless possibilities of opportunity. And I feel like knowing boundaries, I feel like knowing when to say yes, when to say no, when not to take on too much and when to take on just enough. Having that balance is, I believe, very important. And sometimes I feel like, okay, so I am back. I thought that something was going on with my camera or my mic or whatever. But anyway, so just finding that balance of knowing when to, when not to, and saying no and being okay with saying no. And that sometimes is hard for me because if I feel like it's something that I can do, I'll commit to it. And then I feel like I have to jump through hoops to figure out why I said yes to this. And then I'll say, oh, I know why I said yes to this because I can do it. I just got to figure out the timing of this thing and see how we're going to work this thing out. And so I always figure it out, or I always find a way, as my sister say, find my way out of a paper bag. But making sure that I take time to process what's being asked of me, take a look in consideration of what I already have going on, and not to pile my plate with more than I can handle, so to speak. So that is pretty much what I have been trying to work through myself. And so I kind of want to just do a video about that, of what it is that I'm doing, what it is that's going on with me, and then share that with you all too, and then how I'm working through that, you know, because that it may be helpful or beneficial to someone else that is dealing or going through the same thing. But the endless possibilities of opportunity and not putting limits on yourself. So when I say this from time to time, when you put limits on yourself, you're putting limits on God and what He can do for you. And sometimes we could be putting limits on ourselves and we're not aware of that, and just by nature of how we were taught or how we were raised, and thinking, oh, but I wasn't thinking that. And I am preaching to the choir here, okay? So it's a lot of things that I've been learning, been growing, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the future and what it has to offer. And I'm excited about the endless possibilities of opportunity and where this next phase and season is going to take me in life. I am learning and I'm wanting to get more out of my comfort levels and comfortability. And I've always been one to try things, even if I didn't really care for it. And I've always been open to change and trying different things. Some things has taken me longer than others, but I have always been a person to be willing to say, hey, well, let me give it a try. If I don't like it, then I don't like it. Or if I did give it a try, why did or did not like it? And if it was because of something that I didn't necessarily follow 100% instructions, so why I didn't like it, or if it was just not a good experience for me at all. But learning not to put limits on God, because God is God all by himself. And so if you let him have free reign and free will to really orchestrate your life the way that it was intended, I believe that the possibilities are limitless. They're endless, and it can really happen for you. And so I am consciously and subconsciously trying to work on not putting limits on myself, because I am at a season where I'm ready to step into and out of the box of what people know me as, of the person that you grew up with. And not that I'm changing it to the point where I'm just a completely different person, but I'm an evolved person, and ever evolving, ever changing, and being all that I have come here on earth to be and can be, and even surprise and shock myself on things that I can do along the way on this journey. And I want to be a blessing to others. I want to be a support to others in any and every way that I can. But learning to have that balance of when enough is enough. And I think I posted on one of my social media pages that this is the season to say no, and being okay with that. When you say no and not feeling guilty for saying no, because you're so used to always saying yes and, oh, I got you, don't worry about it. And putting yourself last, because I will put myself last. Sometimes I like putting myself last because I'm like, okay, now I can focus on me. I've assisted, I've helped, and now I can just take my time and really give myself what it is that I am wanting or needing. But sometimes you have to be okay with putting yourself first and not worried about what everybody else is going to say, or if you're worried about them being in judgment of you, being quote unquote selfish. No, because there is a place in the Bible where it talks about, and I think it's Ecclesiastes chapter 3, if I'm not mistaken, where it talks about there's a time and a season for everything. There's a time for peace, a time for war, a time to be quiet, a time to make noise and rejoice. So there's a specific time and place, and sometimes we may have a time and a set on things on when we think that it should be. Preaching to the choir. And then we have to be okay with, so I always say be okay with not being attached to the outcome, but attached to the process, the transformation, the transition, that part. Because if you're more driven to wanting to transform your life from what it is that you know, then you're more apt to see that outcome of what it is that you're hoping for, maybe even better, come sooner, because you're not so attached to when and how. You're focused on, okay, I was able to do this, and now what next? And how can I transition and shift to this? And now what next? So those are just little things that I've kind of just been working on for myself. and trying to get through. And like I said, I'm excited about this next phase because I will be working on this project with someone, and I'm excited to work on it with them and the topics and the things that we're going to be discussing as we go along. So you may be seeing me more over there than here, but I'm gonna try my best to do both. But I just want to pop on for a moment because it has been a while, and I just want to share this information because it was on my heart to share it, and to let people know it's okay with saying no. Be okay with saying no. Finding balance and not taking on more than you can handle, even if you think you can handle it. And you probably can make it work, but then can you really? Because then at that point you're exhausted. I am a type of person that I'm a fight or flight person. I will go in hard, I will give my all, and I am the type of person to like to see things through to completion, and I want to do everything I can, even if it means sacrificing myself to the max. And now that I'm getting older, I'm like, that's not gonna work for me anymore because I'm too young, even though I'm getting older, to feel exhausted as quickly as I am. That lets me know that I'm really giving out too much, too fast, too soon. And I think this is a question that I'm having to ask myself, and maybe you should ask yourself this question too. Would that person do the same thing for you? And if they would they do it to the magnitude that you would do it? And how, if that's the case, and if you ask yourself that question and you have some hesitation, or you just simply know that it would be no, then, and it's not a tit for tat. Sometimes you have to do what you got to do. If a situation calls for you to exude or put in that much work, you have to do what you have to do. I don't want anyone to think that I'm looking at this in the way of, oh, well, I did this for you, you should do this for me. Because that, once again, when I'm doing something, I'm doing it because I want to do it, and I want to see the outcome. I want the outcome to look like, okay, they actually got something out of this, and it's helping them transition and become better. And that's rewarding in itself. But what I'm getting at is like, if they wouldn't even do half of that, why do you feel like you need to exert yourself to that point for them? Have they invested in the amount of time that you have invested in them? So a lot of things that just having to look at it and say, okay, all right, and no fault of anyone, because there are some people, they may not be at that place mentally, spiritually, physically, or emotionally to be able to handle that to the magnitude or capacity that you are able to. But it's just teaching you to look at yourself in a different way and to know the value of who you are and what you have to offer. And finding friendships and different relationships that would match that, so it won't feel as exerting when you are giving out like that. It will feel balanced. That's what I wanted to share with you all today. I hope that I have more opportunities and time to get on here and share more, because I enjoy doing these videos. I enjoy talking to you all. You all get to see bits and pieces of me, and you get to see different sides to me too, because if you've seen my other videos, you see different sides to me. So, but I just wanted to really get on here. You may see different things. It's like, well, what is she doing? Or, is most of her videos gonna be like this, or most of her videos are gonna be like this? And honestly, you never know what you're gonna get. You know why you never know what you're gonna get? Because I don't know what I'm going to present sometimes. But if I feel compelled or the need to get on here and do a video, y'all be ready. Y'all be ready. Be ready. Oh, quickly before I get off, I want to talk to you parents. Now, I am not a parent yet. I am not a mother. I don't have any children at this time. But I have been around children, and I have been around a lot of adults. And I would say this because I was talking to a coworker, and they are a teacher. They're a teacher, and was wondering why the parents would get upset when we're so far in the school year, why their child has X amount of zeros and why their average is in the teens. And we were just talking and laughing. And before I get to that, I want to say this to you all. If you are a parent, you know your child. You know your children. You know what they are capable of. And you know what type of personality they have. And you know what phase they're in their life. Do not send your kids to school knowing this, and then you get a call from the teacher and blatantly act oblivious or in denial. And one thing that I do know is that COVID taught us a lot of things, but specifically in this topic here with the parents, you got to really see your kids for what the teacher had been saying to you for years, and you just, you send them out to school, and it's the teacher's problem from about 8 to 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you don't have to worry about them, but to pick them up or make sure they got their dinner, homework, and go send them to bed. And some parents even dread the summertime. But you know your child, and so if the teacher is telling you something, Don't act like the teacher is the problem. We know who the real problem is. You knew that your child was a little mini Chucky when you put them on the bus. And you already knew the hell that they was about to raise when they got in that classroom. So I want to tell you right now, work on it. Start communicating and talking to your children. That is something. Behavior doesn't start in the classroom. Behavior starts at home. And what you are doing in the home will exemplify out into the public, wherever that may be in school, in the grocery store, wherever. So you can't say it's the school teaching them fault. No. Let's go back to the house from which they started before they even got to preschool. So if you know you got a little Chucky, don't be trying to give the instructors no hard time. You just go ahead and take little Chucky back home, and y'all have a conversation. And some of y'all got the little bride of Chucky too. We ain't gonna even go on that one. But anyway, stop blaming these teachers for your poor parenting in some areas. And I'm not saying that nobody's perfect, because I don't have kids and I don't know what my parenting will look like at some point. But I do know right from wrong. And when you got a Hellraiser and you don't, you know. But anyway, so I just want to put that out there. So, because working with someone who is in the education, underpaid, overworked, and they're dealing with so many different personalities at one time, and they don't deserve that. And they really don't. And so, parents, come on now. The teachers are not only your child's instructor, they are the babysitter too. So that's why I said overworked and underpaid. Okay? So let's do better, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you for taking the time to watch my channel and listen to me. Look forward to hearing more from me soon on several platforms, and depending on where I'm at and what I'm doing, and you'll get to tune in and watch me and be a part of that. Until next time, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I am Edna J, and we have had several topics for today. And until next time, bye.